TQ Crafty here, back with another layout. I'm using still the same kit that I used for that first page that I struggled with really, really hard. So then I was determined to just kill this kit because it caused me so much heartache. But I just showed you there. This was my inspiration. So scrolling through Facebook after I kind of got that page done, and while I was waiting to get that for other page done that gave me such a hard time, scrolling through Facebook and watching YouTube and stuff, I got a lot of inspiration. And so scrolling through Facebook on one of the days like last week, someone posted on the Paige Evans Happy Scrappy Place, her fan page. I believe it was Stephanie Reed. Whoever you are, thank you for creating that adorable little, I don't know if it was a wall hanging. That's what it looked like. But I loved the texture behind it. I loved the strings, like holding it. They were circles. It inspired me. So here I am doing another layout, and this was for another ScrapRoom challenge actually, and it was to use, and so I decided I have those circle pictures that I cut out for my last layout that did not work out, so I decided to use them. And then the last photo, the group photo I had of this little event of my son at this dance camp, this one-day dance camp thing that we did. And I'm like, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. I'm going to just play around and do a bunch of different techniques. And I'm going to use this kit up. I'm going to smash it to pieces. It's going to be gone. And I'm like, because I realized, like, using the inspiration, I can use a bunch of ephemera. Yeah, I have 3 photos, and hers were adorable. And it was just like ephemera accents and like one picture. But it inspired me to create something on a page that was emulating that. So right now I'm poking holes to do stitching to make it look like my photos are connected with a string. And I was really happy to finally get some mojo back. I was struggling so hard. So I'm using up the rest of this Jillibean Soup little mini kit I got from the ScrapRoom a while ago. I had just some left. It was like a partial kit left. So I'm using some of that up. I mat my 2 circle photos a couple times and just kind of do a rough cut so they're not like perfect. Here I'm using this paper cut apart as it's like a photo mat, but I'm using it as a stencil to put not a ton of mixed media on the background, but enough to do something to it. And then I squished it and smudged it. So the ScrapRoom challenge that I did this one for was they usually just give you a word, and you have to use items that stand with the letters, begin with the letters. Oh my goodness, sorry. That begin with the letters in that word. So the word was summer. So I am doing stitching. I decided I could use either ugly face, the one picture of my son, he's making just a horrible face because he actually ended up like half crying, half like pouting while he was supposed to be performing his dance. Or undermount, because you'll see here in a minute, I make like a faux frame around this, and so it's undermounted. I don't know if that works. That U was hard. Anyway, so stitching, mist. I used mist to do the masking, and I figured I could do mist masking, and I did photo mats, so I got 3 M's technically. E, ephemera. I use a bunch of the cut apart ephemera that came in this kit, and then also ribbon, and I make a little bow out of some red ribbon that came in this kit as well. But I went ahead and I'm lining up my photos now that the mist kind of dried to figure out where I want all my stitching. And I also poked all the holes ahead of time, and then I put my photos on because I actually want the stitching to come through the photos. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch, and voila, done. So I stitched to make it look like they are hanging on. They're being like strung by the string and not straight at all. I'm cutting strips of this little scrap piece of paper I had in my stash that was kind of similar blues to the other stuff that was in this kit, and the other blues and these other papers that I found. And what I'm doing too is, as I use up these kits, whatever's left, I'm putting them all in one like big plastic envelope And so I have that as like a stash to go to enhance the other pages that I'm doing. So I'm creating this like faux picture frame because the inspiration was like a piece of art almost. I think it was something to hang on the wall. At least that's what it looks like. Oh, Stephanie Reed is on this Paige Evans Design Team, I'm realizing right now. So thank you, Stephanie. This is beautiful. I love what you did, and it inspired me to make a page. So I'm making like a faux frame, and I'm making it have mitered corners and everything. So fancy. I think I cut out me putting this down because that was a struggle bus. Something about like doing the edging around. Yeah, I don't know why I struggle with that. Do you guys struggle with that? I don't know why. I feel like I'm the only one who seems to struggle with it. Everyone else seems to be able to like get it down so easily. I just can't. But look at that. My stitching is not straight, and my frame ends up not being very straight either. So ta-da! Nothing is straight in my world. All right, so now, and I popped it up on foam, so that way it looks like it is popping off the page, so it looks like those pictures are literally hanging on a string like behind a frame. So that's why I said undermount could be my U. But then I'm going to use all that cut apart ephemera that comes in those perforated sheets, how the Jillibean Soup always did. I don't know if it still does. I think they have cut apart sheets now and actual packs of ephemera instead of those sheets of like perforated. But I'm just using all those to add like little accents to all my photos. Dig into my stash for some things. There's little buttons because this was a very sewing heavy type. But I figured now I have string involved, so that kind of works. Tuck in some stuff. So I'm just going to be doing tucking and cutting and adding ephemera. And I forget that it was annoying me that when I cut out that top right photo, the very top photo, that it's a straight edge because my circle was slightly bigger. So I do end up covering that up with that scallop circle that I just put kind of on the bottom of it. I kind of slide that over. But it turns out really cute. I really love it. And I'm so glad I got some of my mojo back. I was really worried after that first layout. I was really worried about my mojo. It was not going well. But I just add some of the embossing twine. What is it? Embroidery floss. Oh my gosh. I didn't have enough to eat today or something. So I used the embroidery floss to stitch, and then I'm using embroidery floss in the little like paper buttons that came in this kit. And then I will dig in my stash as well. I have some of those pins. I remember a lot of my kits coming with pins with little things on the end of them, like metal actual pins. And so I do have 2 that are like little wooden buttons. So I'll bring those in. And I have one little wood veneer #1 ribbon that I'm going to bring in because this was my son doing a dance thing and performing his dance. And then I end up just I'm having a brain blank. This is the worst voiceover I probably have ever done, but I'm just gonna leave it this way because I need to get stuff done. I end up journaling on the bottom photo, because there's all that blank space, which worked out really, really well. And I will splatter some of that mist at the end as well around the page so it stands out a little bit more. But yeah, this one kind of came together rather quickly because I already had those circle photos cut out and it wasn't hard to just kind of put them on mats and like rough cut around them. This stitching is what took the longest, but I shut the camera off, went and sat and watched TV and did stitching and then made supper. And I actually come back in the middle of the night because I couldn't fall asleep and I finished this. So I did most of it during the day, and then yeah, I came back in the middle of the night to finish. So yep, just using a little bit more of those ephemera pieces that came in the kit and just kind of embellishing. And I end up grabbing my thickers. I believe they're Jen Hadfield Patio Party because they're a nice wood grain. I thought it went well. It blended in but didn't stand out, but didn't like blended too much. And I use those thickers and do a title of #smile because despite my son like having a good time at the camp, and then they had to performing time, and he's always been this way. He's getting better. Whenever it's time to perform, he either just stands there and does nothing, which is typical. But this time was the first time he ever does. He just sat and cried. He just cried and cried and cried and cried. I think he was tired. He was scared. There were a lot of people that showed up to watch them dance. I think it overwhelmed him. And we were all just like in a room. They weren't on a stage or anything. So it was like all of a sudden all these adults were just standing in front of him. And he just cried and cried and cried. So despite that, I did get that gorgeous picture of him smiling in his car seat up on the top. And he's happy with his little troll hat on, and he said he had fun. And I was like, that's all that matters. And he said he was really sorry. It was so sweet. He was sorry that he cried and didn't dance. And I was like, honey, it doesn't matter. As long as you had fun, it's okay that you didn't want to dance. And I asked him if it was kind of scary, and he said yes. So we're really proud of him for even just being up there and doing it. And we have not done a dance camp since. But no, he has gotten out of his shell a little bit now with performing in front of, now that he's been in school and stuff and having to do programs and things up on stage or down on the gym floor and with everybody in the bleachers. He's gotten a lot better. And this was kind of, we didn't know how this was going to go. So but yeah, I'm just going to end here because there isn't really much else to say, I guess. Instead of listening to me ramble on and like butcher my words today, I'll just let you finish watching me kind of fiddle around with some ephemera and details and some embellishing. And yeah, enjoy. And thanks again for watching. Bye.